Thank you for joining me at Wonders with Monty. I'm at the Truckee. I came to the Hirschdale exit. I plan to fish down until I hit private property downstream from here. I came here today because I kind of wanted to drive up and go see if those kokanee salmon were in the little Truckee, but there's a sign that's right there that says extreme fire hazard closed, entry by permit only. So I need to go home and look online and see what's going on with this area before I drive up there and get fined. But big surprise, I'll be fishing jigs today. I'm gonna start with the sleek Roadrunner crappie jig because the flow looks a little down. I'm gonna start at this pool here. I'm gonna work my way, go to the other side, and work my way down that rugged area below the train track. So before the sun comes up, let's get some fishing in. Man, it's kind of chilly out here. It feels good. I almost could have worn my waders, but it's gonna get hot. My fingers are actually kind of cold. There's a lot of trails around here. This area is pretty heavily fished, but it doesn't mean I can't sneak a jig by and get something. So I'm gonna fish this easily to fish area, and then I'm gonna head down to the harder to get to stuff. Man, this river is really low, much lower than the last time I fished it. And I got a couple of 132 ounce jigs that I got by accident. And I think today might be the day to bust those things out. I mean, I'm skipping this little light jig across this Roadrunner jig, and I'm just bouncing it along the rocks pretty much. And I can get this thing all the way across. So I'm just gonna have to keep pounding it out, find the hole, and hopefully I get something today. I just had to get him over that boulder over there. He's a good one. I got a barbless jig. It's not barbless right now, but all my jigs are barbless. And I got him all the way across the river. And it's a rainbow. Oh, he got off! No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I thought he got off. I thought he got off. He didn't get off. I got him. There he is. It's about an 18-incher. Beautiful fish. Look at that bright red gill. That's beautiful. Let's get him back out there. What a way to start the morning. And I got him way on the other side. And when I hooked him, he went on the other side of that big boulder, and I thought, man, I am in trouble now. Oh, and the jig fell out right when he got in the net. Right here, my line went slack, and I thought I lost him, but I don't know what happened. He must have rolled or something, I don't know. But, oh, I got that thing in the first 10 minutes. So I'm really having to fish from little pocket to pocket here. Like I'll target one little spot, try to drop my jig in, and hopefully there's just something sitting here. And this flow's a little tough, but it's, you know, you just gotta be accurate. That's the theme, you gotta be accurate. Because if you go too short, you're gonna scare them. If you go too far, you might scare them or you might get snagged. So the sun's starting to come up, but I'm gonna fish a little bit. Hit something out there in between those two boulders. It's not very big. It's a little rainbow. It's a pretty fish. See if I can get him before that jig pops out. Almost had him. Got him that time. That jig fell right out in the net as usual. There he is. Nice little rainbow. Get him back out there. Woo, there he goes, zizoo, zizoo. And I got him out in between those two boulders way out there. And I was just popping that jig in and he responded. So I'm down below the bridge now and I'm working my way down. And the water's a lot lower than the last time I fished here because I couldn't even come down here. I had to hike down to each individual spot. And now I can make my way. So we'll see if I can capitalize off of this. This is like the fastest water I've seen so far is right here. So we'll see. There's one. For me, this section of river fishes a lot better when it's low. Just because I can get into these holes a little better. There we go. Nice little brown trout. Get him back out there. A lot of times the fish will be right in between those two rocks where that swift water goes. So sometimes I'll have to put my jig in between those and hold my rod high so that my line doesn't get caught on the rock and it doesn't interfere with the natural presentation of my jig. And it's difficult though sometimes because when you hook a big fish, they're gonna swim you around all these exposed boulders. And it can be a tricky mess, boy. Because the water is so low, every time I go and try to set the hook, if I come up empty, this thing comes flying back at me like a bullet. Oh, like that. And it's already hit me in the chest a couple times. I had to duck once. What I'm doing here is I'm high up on this boulder because I'm trying to fish the far side of the stream. And I want to be able to get my jig past that boulder and jig it above the boulder, and this high trajectory allows me to do that without getting my line caught. And it's almost like a form of like river kung fu, where you use the momentum of the river against it. And so you just cast this thing out, I'll get it over there, and then I'll swim it right up to the boulder, and then that'll allow me to fish both sides of the boulder with a high hook set if there is a fish there. And that way I'll be able to hook it and then get it out of the other side of that boulder. So this time I'm gonna cast right on the other side of the boulder, drop it in, and then this high trajectory is gonna allow me to fish that area close to the boulder. Because when the water gets low like this, the big fish will have their spots, and they're not gonna move far from those spots. So you gotta get your stuff right in there into the action. Fish in this hot, fast water, it's a good one. All right, now we're putting some numbers on the board today on this inaugural run. This fast water's deceiving. I can't see what I got here. There he is. Want to keep this water tight. Brown trout. There he is in the net. I'm gonna let him chill for a minute before I let him go. River's not that cold. I barely had that big boy hooked, so I'm gonna put him in this current for a minute. There it is, another fat trout. Get back out there, buddy. Woo! Oh, I'm right under the freeway pass, and he was right in that fast water. A good brown, I saw him flash. Oh, he's jumping. Get out of that rock, boy. And I'm fishing the water I passed up earlier where I already fished, but I was trying to get it in tighter to that rock, and I got it right under the rock. And there he was, waiting for me. Come on, come on. There's the jig. Woo! And that's a nice brown right there. That is a big fella. Oh, there he goes, back out into the current. I'm coming back up now, and I'm fishing these boulders from the other side, and I swam that thing. You let the current get it as close as you can, and then you shoot it by. And that big fish was just out there waiting for it. What a day this is turning out to be. So that'll wrap up the inaugural day of fishing with the new car. My awesome viewers helped me get. This will be one day of many to come. When the river's low like this, it can be tricky. You know, it creates challenges, but with the challenges, there's also opportunities. Because it's easy for the fish to see you when you're coming unless they're tucked in tight against a boulder. And that's what I was targeting. I was using the current, I was casting up, and then swimming my jig, and then reeling as fast as I had to once I saw it getting close to the target. And I was trying to run my jig in between rocks. I lost one jig today, which is pretty good. Sometimes the water's not that deep. You can see the little deeper green areas, and that's where you want to skip your jig by. Because even though the water's not going that fast, the fish they have blinders on sometimes when the boulders are on both sides of them and they're tucked in there. So when the jig shoots by, they gotta go. And that's what I need. I was down in that calmer water. I never catch anything when it gets calm. That's when I turned around. And I had several fish swim up, look at it. They're like, hey, Hal, come look at this. Look at what this guy thinks I'm gonna bite. You know what I mean? It was so ridiculous. But with a little bit of current, I was getting good action. And I could have even had a better day. Like, I just momentarily hooked into 2 other fish that were easily 16 inches or bigger. I mean, it was just, they were hitting, man. And it was good, well into after the sun was up. So I hope you enjoyed my first day back out. This might be it for the week. But I did want to make it out. I wanted to do this whole situation right and come out the first possible chance I had after I got that car. So thank you for everything, everybody. Thank you for helping me with the car. Thank you for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.